Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a May reading wrap up. I'm going to use a lot of the same materials that I used for my May setup. Primarily I will be using the Books I've Read stamp set from Paper Person. I will use one stamp from the Reading Journal stamp set by Everyday Explorers Co. and then one stamp from the Dream Maker stamp set from Close to My Heart, and I will link those below if they are still available. So the first thing that I'm going to jump in and do is kind of get my totals on my totals portion of my reading journal set up for May, and then get my favorite book pasted down here as well. So I read a total of 6 books this month. I read 2,025 pages, 3 genres, and then 2 formats. I read 4 audiobooks and 2 digital books. And for my favorite book this month, I picked a ARC read, actually, and it is called Plot Twist. I will have to look back up the day that it's actually going to be releasing, and I will put that information down in the description box below if you are interested in it. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of this filled in. I do mess up on my stamping here when I do the genres. I'm going to just bypass that and then come back in with my whiteout and restamp a 3 in that area. And then once I get all of this done, I will pull out my little Canon Ivy printer, and I will use that to print a cover for Plot Twist, which is going to go in my favorites book section. So here I have pulled out my little Canon Ivy printer, and I'm getting that cover printed. I really like the size, this 2x3 size for my book covers for my favorite book of each month, and I have been using it all year long. So I think I'm going to continue to do this size for the rest of the year. I think there was only one month that I didn't actually do this size, but as you can see, I'm right back to it. So I'm going to put that down because these do print on like sticker. And I also have a printable from Everyday Explorers from their newest kit, their monthly kit, that I printed out on sticker paper, clear sticker paper, and I'm going to put that next to that book as well. Then I'm going to jump over to my next 2 pages. This is going to be the pages that I actually paste down a cover of each book that I've read this month. This month I'm actually going to end up doing things a little bit differently than I have been the last whole portion of the year. I'm actually going to be pasting down the synopsis for each book in my little sections. I have a terrible memory, so when I'm going back and looking through my journal and like reflecting on books that I've read, I often find myself thinking, what the heck was this book even about? And so I decided to try for this month printing out the synopsises, so that if I am looking back and reading like a small snippet of what I wrote and the cover, and I'm just like, what the heck was this book even about? I will already have that information right there in front of me. I've also not really been interested in writing a ton about each book lately, so it does take up a bunch of the space that I have for each written section and gives me some information about the book, and also leaves me a little bit if I want to add something about that book as well. So the books that I read this month were Would You Marry Me? I do not have the authors' names written on my stats page, so I don't have those, but I'll link down each of the books, or I'll list each of the books down below as well. So I read Would You Marry Me? I'm Glad My Mom Died, The Bridge Kingdom, The Traitor Queen, Plot Twist, and Frost. And like I said, I'll list those down in this description as well. So there were 2 books that I considered fantasy. No, 3 books I considered fantasy. 2 romance, and then 1 memoir. So I am using the washi tape that I used on my original setup, just to kind of bring that over to this page as well. And I also used some printables from the Paper Person shop. There was this book 3x4 card, and I actually printed that out on sticker paper and just cut the rows individually to turn them into book stickers. So I'm using that as some decorative pieces on this page as well. Right now I am going in and stamping out some stars so that I've got my star rating for each book. And then I will use that reading journal stamp set from Everyday Explorers. I'm going to cover up the star section of that stamp set and just use the little portion of it on the top that says book rating. And before I do that, I'm going to stick this sticker down, and then I will go in and do that portion of it. So I will add a small bit of writing to each of these, I believe. I won't read two of them for you, the two that I wrote the most on, because I do have a little bit about what happens in those books. So if you're interested, then you can pause the video and maybe zoom in. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it, to be completely honest with you. But for Would You Marry Me, I wrote, this was super cute, a little forgettable though, was my couple 2 cents that I had. For I'm Glad My Mom Died, I just wrote intense, because that book was intense. Not in like, I'm not even sure how to describe how like it made me feel. I just remember feeling overwhelmed by everything that had happened to Jennette. So I felt like it was very intense. Like I said, I'm not going to read out the next two. For Plot Twist, that is an advanced reader copy, and I will have a review for this one on Goodreads, like an actual written out review. I just wrote loved this next to it because I did think it was super cute and I really liked it. And then for Frost, I wrote, I really liked the thought behind this one. Such a fun idea. The main character annoyed me a bit though. And that's really all I had for my portion of the handwritten reviews. So back to what I'm actually doing in my video, I used the same book stack stamp that I used when I did my original setup to, like I said, bring that over to these review pages as well to kind of make them a little bit more cohesive. And I'm just filling in a couple of these books with the same mink color that I filled them in my original setup. So once I do that, I believe is when I pull my pen out and I do start writing a little bit of a review or my thoughts, like just very simple words. Like I said previously, I've not really been interested in doing a ton of like wordy talking about the books in my reading journal this year. Last year, I was doing a ton of that. Like I had some books that I was writing full pages about. This year, I'm not really feeling that. So I'm just writing a couple words, a couple thoughts about each book. If there's something that stood out to me in particular, then I'll write that down as well. And that's what I'll do for The Bridge Kingdom and The Traitor Queen, because I did actually have a little bit more to say for both of those. So I'll kind of keep doing this until it feels like what I want to do next is write pages again. I'm, like I said, just kind of doing what works for me right now, and this works for me. So I do like having the synopsis here since I'm not writing a ton, and I think that I will do this again next month. I love the way that it ended up looking, and I like having all of the information and my thoughts in one particular spot. So that is all I am doing once I finish this last little writing that I'm doing, and I will be done with my May wrap up. I lied. I will not be done until I do a little bit of last minute stamping. I pulled out the Dream Maker stamp set from Close to My Heart. It's got some text stamp on it, and I recently used this in my Everyday Explorers Kit Crush video, and I'm obsessed with it, especially in this mink color. So I'm going to stamp that around to kind of fill in some of the blank space around my video, and then I will be done. And once I finish this up, I will do a quick little flip through. It's only going to be like one page that I'm flipping just to show you my final fill-ins and then this page. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and let me know what your favorite book this past month was for the month of May. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.